Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I literally have just started the webcam and Maverick I can hear is about to pass by my window. Apologies if there is some aeroplane noise in the background in a moment or two's time. But look at this puzzle on the screen. Many of you will immediately appreciate this is a Phog of War Sudoku. Indeed, it is called Phog of War, but Phog is not spelt with an F, it's spelt with a PH. And this is a return to the channel of, well, actually, it's a setter that I can't believe how long it's been since apiyo has appeared on the channel. I love apiyo's puzzles. And there was a time when I think we were doing an apiyo puzzle every few days. There was such good quality. And then I think just the world of Sudoku got swamped by an influx of amazing new setters, and perhaps apiyo moved on to other things. But anyway, apiyo is clearly returned with Phog of War. And for those of you who don't know, what is a Phog of War Sudoku? It may look very strange. Well, these are incredible puzzles in that if we put the correct digit into this cell, it would clear all of the fog in the surrounding cells. And of course, that might lead to the temptation to just put the numbers 1 through 9 into this cell until you get the right one. That is cheating. You mustn't cheat when you do Phog of War puzzles. The puzzle creators have designed these puzzles so that just with the logic that's available to us from the white cells, we ought to be able to deduce things about the puzzle and enter correct digits into the grid. It's an absolutely wonderful form of Sudoku. And yeah, many of you I know have fallen in love with it, and I'm one of that crowd. So I will read you the rules to apiyo's puzzle in a minute. They are interesting, let me tell you. And I did have a look at Logic Masters Germany, and I did remember today to actually check the rating out. The rating is 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty, and the comments on this are effusive. So this is going to be quite wonderful, and that's great. Right, I've got a few announcements. Mark and I were away last week in different places, but that has meant that I've got a bit behind with reading out some community messages, and I apologise for that. But the first people I really do need to apologise to and to congratulate are Sabrina and Desmond over there in Michigan, because last Saturday, I believe, they got married. And not only did they get married, but they invited Mark and me to the wedding. I can't believe it. We didn't get the invite in time, Sabrina and Desmond. I mean, otherwise, I promise you we would have at least replied to it. I don't think either of us would have been able to go, but we would definitely have replied. So thank you so much for inviting us. We arrived back. We checked our post box yesterday. And my fantasy map has arrived, so I'm absolutely made up about that. But also in the box was Sabrina and Desmond's wedding invite. So thank you for inviting us. I hope you had a brilliant day. If you have a picture, do share it with us, and we'll share it with the community. Other than that, let's say a very happy birthday to 2 people down there in Western Australia, in Perth, Adam and Scott. Who apparently discovered at a family dinner last week that they both watched the channel, and they're twins, and it's their birthday today. So Adam and Scott, happy birthday. I hope I've got the day right. Davey, you turned 24 last week, and I know that because your fiancée Kaylee wrote to us. She described you as her favourite person and guaranteed there was going to be a lot of cake and ice cream. So Davey, it sounds like you should have had a great day. Lee, it was your birthday last week. Happy birthday for that. You find the channel helps organise your chaotic mind. I can relate to that. I find that solving puzzles does that for me as well. Matt, you turned 46 last Friday over there in Wilmington, Delaware. And I know this because your wife Caitlin wrote to us. And I understand that the whole family watch Cracking the Cryptic in the evenings while watching dinner, and there are 5 of you. That is absolutely great to hear. Paddy, you turned 25 last week, and you've been watching since lockdown. I think there are a fair few people who found the channel during lockdown. Hope you had a great birthday, Paddy. Lucy. Lucy, you turned 24 yesterday, and I know this because your boyfriend... Now, this is one of these things. The name is Guy, but it could be Guy, depending on where Guy or Guy heralds from, and I couldn't tell. So I think Guy probably, but it might be Guy. And whichever it is, you'll know Lucy. And Guy wished you a happy birthday. And then, Jaron, I want to say. Jaron? I hope I'm saying that correctly. I think it's a Dutch name. Last week you turned 26, and I know this because your girlfriend Nina wrote to us. I think also Nina provided detailed instructions on pronunciation, which I may have just butchered. So Jaron. I hope I'm getting that correct. I'm sorry if not. And then, there's another shout out I wanted to do last week, and I couldn't do. But Cameron, you graduated with a first-class degree in maths from the University of Leeds. And I just wanted to say, absolutely fantastic work, well done. And I am very sorry about the sad news that you've had. I'm not going to dwell on it because it will make me emotional. But anyway, Cameron, many congratulations. And then, actually, I also wanted to extend our best wishes to Orozma868, who yesterday I talked a bit about Luke, who's going through chemo at the moment, and Orozma868 is as well, and we wanted to wish you well as well. Now let's move on to other things. What else do I need to tell you? It's coming up. I have got the roll of honor. We've got the roll of honor for the Sudoku hunt for this month. Hundreds and hundreds of you have managed to solve it. Very, very well done. That is absolutely stellar work. And we'll be doing the roll of honor. Probably won't be in today's video, but probably tomorrow. And we will pick a winner as well. So look out for that. And also, if you want to join us on Patreon before the 1st of August, you'll be in line for a brand new Sudoku hunt that we have coming up, which has been constructed with a great deal of help from Glum Hippo, no less. So it's going to be very cool, themed on tennis. Look out for it coming up very soon. But let's get to Phog of War by Apiyo, and I will read you the rules to this brand new puzzle. They are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So we need to put the digits 1 to 9 in each row, in each column, and in each 3x3 box. The grid is partially covered in fog. Placing correct digits will clear the fog from that digit's surrounding cells. Right, this is where the rules start to get strange. No domino in the grid sums to 3. So I don't dare put big digits in the grid in case I guess correctly. You know, if I was to put a big 1 here and there was a big 1 here, then it would clear the fog and I wouldn't have earned that deduction. So I'm going to put little digits in. What that's telling us is there are no dominoes in the grid that contain a 1 and a 2, which is very strange. The perimeter cells of the grid sum to 172. So that's another strange rule, isn't it? But that's apparently true. Digits along a thermometer must increase from the bulb end. At least we can see some thermometers here. So these digits here, we have to go upwards. So we could go like something like this. That would be fine. You don't have to go up in steps of 1. But the digits must rise. Just as mercury rises as the temperature rises, so must digits rise along a Sudoku thermometer as you move away from the bulb end. Adjacent digits along a green line must differ by at least 5. So these two digits have to be at least 5 apart. So if this was a 1, it can't be a 1 because of where it is on the thermometer. Let's make it a 9 then. If that was a 9, this digit would have to be at least 5 different from 9, so it would have to be a 1, 2, 3, or 4. That's how German whispers. That's the nature of the green line constraint. That's what it's often called. That's how they work. Cells separated by a black dot must contain digits in a 1 to 2 ratio. Now I can't see any black dots poking out through the fog. So let's imagine these two squares had a black dot in the middle of them. So one of these digits must be double the other, is what we're being told. So if this was 3, this could be 6. If this was 4, this could be 8 or 2. That would be how that would work. And then cells separated by a white dot must contain consecutive digits. So I can see some of these poking through the fog. So imagine this was, if this was a 9, that would have to be an 8, because it would have to be consecutive and it couldn't be a 10. And that's the rules. So do have a go at Phog of War. Apiyo's puzzles are always brilliant, and the way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And this actually makes me think of exactly what we were doing yesterday, the sort of setup here. It looks like it's trying to be Fistomophelian, doesn't it? I mean, what have I got going on here? Let me just think about this for a moment. I don't think it is Fistomophelian, because I don't see how we're going to get any purchase on the values. On the values along the thermometer, or the thermometers I should say. We can see the thermometers do extend. This thermometer is extending into, what's this, row 5, column 7. And this thermometer here is extending into this cell. I missed... Oh, there's the perimeter rule, isn't there? Hang on, let me just... Yes, okay. Let's just have a quick think about that, because 172 I think is close to being a maximum. I want to say the maximum that a perimeter of a Sudoku can add up to is 174. But let's try and think about why that might be true. I suppose to let you in on why I think that might be true, I am going to have to share with you a secret that I know about Sudoku. Now, this is a secret I only share with my very favourite people, but if you're still watching this video, of course you're one of those people. I'm definitely going to share it with you. Just don't tell anybody. The secret is that any complete row, any complete column, and indeed any complete box of a Sudoku, because of the rules of Sudoku, contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. Now, the digits 1 to 9 add up to 45, and that's the secret. So what's the most? Well, we know that those cells there add up to 45, don't we? We know these cells here add up to 45. We know the whole of column 1 adds up to 45, and we know the whole of column 9 adds up to 45. So if we were to take 4 lots of 45, we would get 180. But the eagle-eyed amongst you will note that if we did take 4 lots of 45, we'd be over-counting the value of the perimeter, because we double count this cell. This cell is both in row 1 and it's in column 1. So I can't just take 4 lots of 45 and be done with it. I need to cater for the fact that the corner cells are included in 180 twice, in effect. So any perimeter of a Sudoku adds up to 180 minus the values in the corners, and the minimum values I could put in the corners would be a series of 1s and 2s, wouldn't it? I could put a 1-2 pair here and a 1-2 pair here, and 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, so 174 is the absolute maximum value we could ever have in a Sudoku perimeter. And in this puzzle we haven't quite got that. We have got 172, which means that the 4 cells in the perimeter have to sum up to 8, which means they must have at least 1 1 in them, because otherwise we'd be 2 3 plus 2 3, which is 10. Now, do we have to have 2 1s in the perimeter is an interesting question. What if we had 1 1? No, we don't have to have 2 1s. We could have 1 1, 2 2s, and a 3. But I think that is the only way that you can't have 2 1s in the perimeter. 1 1, 2 2s, and a 3 would do it. Yeah, otherwise you need to have 2 1s. But if you have 2 1s, there's loads of flexibility then, because the other 2 digits have to add up to 6. Although they couldn't I was going to say they couldn't use ones. We couldn't have 3 ones in the corners, could we? That won't work from a Sudoku perspective. If you put 2 ones into those squares, there is no opportunity to put another one in a corner. So we can't have 3 ones. So it's right. So the corner digits are either 1, 2, 2, 3, or 1, 1, 3, 3, or 1, 1, 2, 4 in some order. And that's probably useful, but I haven't got a clue how. Is it something to do with... I'm wondering if it's something to do with ones in these columns, because I can't put... None of these cells can be a 1, because they would... they're obviously not in the bulb position of a thermo. So the only place you can put a 1 along a thermometer is in the bulb. If we put a 1 here, this square would have to be, well, 1, 0, minus 1. It would have to be a ludicrous number that's not possible. No, right. I've just realised what this is about. No, it's about... Right, it's about the 2 rules together, isn't it? It's about the fact that we can't have... Yeah, this is clever. I haven't quite understood it yet, but it's about the fact that we can't have a domino that contains a 1 and a 2. So, yeah, so forget what I was saying about 1s in this column. That's true. This is about the Fistomephel ring. It is about the Fistomephel ring. I only proved this yesterday. And it's about it. It's something to do with 1s and 2s in this congregation of digits, isn't it? Because, oh, that's a siren going off. Yeah, what I'm thinking is that one thing we know, or I'll explain why I'm talking about Fistomephel. Oh, this is why it's called Phog of War. It's like Fistomephel, Og of War, is what we're being told here. Right, and I haven't quite understood this yet, but what I can tell you is that undoubtedly the 4 corner cells of any Sudoku have to appear in this ring of digits, because there is a theorem. Let me show you. There is a theorem. We proved it yesterday on the channel, and in fact maybe this will be the first time I don't prove it again, because I can just direct you to yesterday's video. There is a theorem in Sudoku that says that these green cells here, these 16 green cells, contain the identical 16 digits to the 16 blue cells in the corners. And that is weird and wonderful and magical. And I proved it in yesterday's video. I did, and I put timestamps on the proof, so it's very easy to find. But if you don't mind, why don't we just take that as read today? And if you don't like me doing that, drop me a comment, and I will reinstate giving the full-blown Fistomephel explanation in every video, which is what I've always tended to do. But that's because I've very rarely done 2 puzzles on consecutive days that use this theorem. But anyway, if you believe that is true, and it is, I guarantee it, then what we can say about the corner cells of any Sudoku is that they must appear in the ring, because they're clearly in the blue boxes. But that means that we have some congregation of very, very low digits that we need to put in these green cells, because we know the corner cells add up to 8. Now, where can we put very low digits into this ring? And the reason I've suddenly thought about this is I was thinking about 2s in this column. And I realised that you can't put 2 in the second position on a thermo in this puzzle. Because if you do, what do you have to put into the bulb? You've got to put a 1, but there are no dominoes that are 1, 2 dominoes in the puzzle. So it is something to do, I think this puzzle is something to do with the fact that I know that I've got to have I've got to have some ones and some twos. I probably have to have at least, well, yeah, I've either got a 1 and 2 twos. That might actually be impossible. So the version of the four corners, let's just give those a separate colour. The version of the four corners which didn't have 2 1s in it, the only version of that would work is 1 2 2 3. Now if we try and do that, how do we do that? Because I don't think, I can't put a 2 here. That would be a 1. So you can't put 2s or 1s in any of those squares. And yet I've got... Oh, yeah, look. No, it's simpler. It's simpler than I'm making it. Right, so the question is, actually, where can you put 2s or 1s in this whole perimeter? I've suddenly realised that square's ruled out as well, which means that square's ruled out. You can't put a 2 or a 1 here. A 1 for obvious reasons, that would be a 0 or less. And a 2, because if this is a 2, this is a 1, and that's creating a naughty domino, and we mustn't create naughty dominoes. So, actually, the congregation of cells in the ring that could take a 1 or a 2 is precisely that domino and that domino. But we can't put a 1 and a 2 into either of those dominoes, or we'll have broken the constraint about the fact that no domino adds up to 3. So that all means that if we did have the corners adding up to 8 in a 1, 2, 2, 3 congregation, I couldn't fit them in because I've got 3 digits that are either 1s or 2s. And I can't put those in 2 dominoes if I can't put 1s and 2s together. So it is not 1 2 2 3, which means that there are 2 1s. Right, so there are 2 1s. There's a 1 in one of those squares and there's a 1 in those squares, because we know that now to make 8, we're going to have 2 1s in the sum. Yeah, okay, but this is going to have to be a 1-3 pair, isn't it? Because now I've worked out that the perimeter, the corners have 2 1s in them. The other 2 digits have to add up to 6. They can't be 1 5, can't put a third 1 in. They can't be 2 4 now, because if they were 2 4, where would you put the 2 in the green ring? You can't put it anywhere without it being next to a 1. So it's got to be 1 1 3. And this is just brilliant, isn't it? It's just, that is absolutely brilliant. It hasn't given me any digits, but it is brilliant. Oh no, it has given me a, right. Well, the 1-3 deduction hasn't given me a digit, but there's something else that's given me a digit, which is that I've just noticed that can't be a 1, because if that's a 1, that's a 2 because of the white dot. Those have to be consecutive. So we're going to get a digit and clear the fog here. Look, here we go. Well, okay, that was underwhelming, actually. That's revealed the bones of a dot here. And that's all. Right, so we've sort of got, well, we've got 1-3 pairs in the perimeter. So I have to put 2 3s into the perimeter. And I can see there are some cells that now can't be 3s. I mean, obviously that could never be a 3, because 3, 2, 1 would have broken this bulb. But that can't be a 3, because that would be a 2 and that would be a 1, and that would create a naughty domino. Oh, actually, gosh, I've just realised as well that by highlighting the Fistemafel ring in green, I almost didn't see that there was a green thing poking out into that cell. So I'm going to change my green colour. That's, well, actually, maybe I'll make it yellow. No, that's terrible. That's worse. Maybe I'll make it. Gosh, I almost chose grey there. How ludicrously stupid would that have been? Okay, I'll make it. I will make it orange, because I can see that that's green against an orange background. Presumably, this has to be a high digit, does it? when I say high, let's talk a bit about, we're doing a lot of secrets in this puzzle, but there's a secret to do with German whispers lines, green lines, which is they can never have 5 on them, because the adjacent digits on the line have to differ by at least 5. So if we had a 5 on the line and we went upwards, we get to 10, which is not a valid Sudoku digit. And if we went downwards, we get to 0, also not a valid Sudoku digit. And if we go even further away, we'll obviously get into ludicrous levels of non-allowability. So there's no 5 on a green line, which means that we can think of green line digits, as Maverick flies past again, as either being lower than 5 or higher than 5. Now, but then they oscillate along the line. Imagine this was lower than 5, even if it's 1. The minimum we have to add to 1 is 5. So we're always going to flip the other side of that central digit, that 5 digit. So, but this is the 4th cell along a thermometer, so the only way that this could be a low digit is if it's a 4, but we know it can't be a 4 because that's going to make this a 2-1 naughty domino, and in fact, no, this can't be a 1 anyway. So this is a high digit, which means it's 6, 7, 8 or 9. And this digit is therefore low by the power of oscillating polarity. Therefore there's a white dot relationship there, so that digit's at least a 5 then. But again, that's at the tip of a thermo. Well, actually, is it? That's an interesting thought. Is it at the tip of a thermo? This thermo here could twist or go here. So this needn't be the tip of a thermo. We can't tell. So it's going to have to be something else. Ah, right. Okay, so what we do here is, and I should have stuck with where I got the fog reveal, but I didn't think about it. Look, that is a white dot. And I'm now learning that in this puzzle, one digit you do not ever put on a white dot in this puzzle is the digit 1, because it will then have to go with a 2, which will create a naughty domino. So where do I put a 1 in this column? And the answer is I don't quite know. But I know it's not in that domino, and I know it's not along a thermo. So it's got to be there. And that means, well, in one of these 2 cells, which means that square's a 3. Oh, hang on, we can have a multiple party going on, because it's going to cause double 3s in the corner. Oh, that's great. Look, I wonder if, hang on, can I delete that? I'm wondering if I can get a double party going off. Hang on, I've never had the opportunity to do this before, and I don't know whether Sven's software will recognise it, but that's 3s in the corner. That's 3s in the spotlight, losing their religion, proving their positions, I should say. They've got to be 1s now. Oh, look at this. We're getting traction. Oh, well, we are getting traction as well, because these green lines have been revealed. So 3 on a green line can only go next to 8 and 9. So this is an 8-9 pair. This digit is 1, 2 or 4, because by oscillating polarity it has to be low again. Although I've had a thought about that. No, okay, actually I'm going to stick with my thought about that. What is that digit? It's a 4. It's a 4, because if it's a 1 or a 2, I'm saying that I need to put... I know I've got these 2 1s to put in the Fistemafell ring, and I know that those 2 1s correspond to a 1 in one of these squares and this one here. If this is a 1, I've got to put another 1 on the Fistemafell ring. There's nowhere to put it. And if it's a 2, I've got to put a 2 in one of these dominoes, and they can't go there without creating naughty dominoes. So that is a 4, and that's going to clear fog. Oh, that really was awful. Okay, that square's now a 9. 4 can only be next to 9. 4 and 9 are monogamous on German whispers lines. They only have, well, 4 only has 1 partner. These are an 8-9 pair, obviously, by exactly the same logic. But this line here is shorter than this one. Let me mull this over now. Right, so one thing I can see here is to ask the question, yeah, this is good actually. Where do 8 and 9 go in row 7? So they're not in those squares. We can't put 8 and 9 into these positions on the thermometer, because this will be at least a, well, that square will be at least a 10, and that's not going to work. That can't be an 8 or a 9. Again, this square will be at least a 10. So this is an 8-9 pair, and actually we do know the order. So that's, oh, that's 9. This might do something. Well, it did actually, didn't it? So this is a black dot. The first one of these we've discovered. It can't be a 1-2 pair. So it's either 2-4. Let's put that in, or it's 3-6. Now, is there some reason why one of those is not allowed? There probably is. No. Okay, well, let's go back to Sudoku then. 9 in this box is on a thermometer. Well, it can't be anywhere but in the tip of a thermometer, which means it must be in one of those squares, which is on a white dot. So that is now an 8-9 pair. And this is on a green line, but that doesn't affect this. Ah, okay. Okay. Right, let's... Oh, I see. Yes, look. Now I've got a 9-8 here. So these squares have to be high polarity, but not 9 or 8. So this... Oh, this is beautiful. This is 6 and 7. And that stops this being a 3-6 pair. So this is a 2-4 pair. And now these squares are a 3-5, I think. That seems to be forced. Now, if that was 3, it would be one of the 3s that we've got in the corners. 2 now has to be in one of those squares in box Maverick, getting lower and lower, but 2 has to be in one of these squares by Sudoku. Right, yes, okay, but of course, this is brilliant. This is going to go through the puzzle now, isn't it? Because remember, I'm sort of slowly piecing this together in my brain, but once we have the 1s in the corners, there now cannot be any 2s in any of these positions, can there? Because we've had our quota of 1s and 2s for this central ring. So this 2 here rules 2 out of these squares, but you can't put 2 in any of those squares, or you're going to break the puzzle. Actually, we couldn't have 2s in these squares anyway. Let's actually make those 6, 7, 8, and 9, which we can get rid of 9 from this one and 8 from this one. But this can't be a 2, because it's going to require a 2 here or a 2 on this one domino, and that's going to make a naughty domino. So 2 is on this thing. Oh, this is it. So that's 2, 3, because it can't be 2, 1 for obvious reasons. And it can't, oh, and we know the order. We know the order. Right, that's 3. That's 2. That's cleared some more fog. 2 is in one of those squares by Sudoku. 2 can't go next to 1. If this was a 2, this would be a 3. Oh, look, no, this is simpler. Look, 3 is in one of these squares. Well, if I put 3 here, that has to be 2, and that's going to create a naughty domino. No naughty dominoes. So that's 3. Okay, so does that mean that... Yes, it does mean that's 2, because it can't be 4 and has to be consecutive. Right. 9 can't go here, can it? So 9 is in one of these squares. 9 is not there. Oh, goodness, right, yes, okay. So just chasing these extreme digits around the grid is what we need to do. Look, where's 9 in this column? Well, it's not in any of those squares anymore. And it can't be anywhere along a thermometer, but in the tip of the thermometer. So it's in one of these squares, and that's on a dot. So that's become an 8-9 pair, which means I've got an 8-9 pair in the middle row. Okay, that might not have done anything, actually. I'm going to keep chasing my 2s around then. There's got to be a 2 in this domino. Again, it can't go here. Yeah, that's that was not a very sensible place to do anything, was it? Okay. Feels difficult to me for that to be a 5. I'm just noticing that this is at least a 5 as well. So if that was a 5, you'd have... Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay. It doesn't work, but it takes a little bit of studying of this... of the layout. Actually, the other thing I'm just going to do here is I'm going to note that 1... Oh, I can place 1. Oh my goodness. I was about to know that 1 was in that domino, and that would have been a particularly underpowered deduction. But the cell that I was interested in was this one. This cell can't be 1, 2, 3 or 4 by Sudoku. So that cell is 5, 6 or 7, I believe. Now that means, look at this square. If this was a 5, then all of these digits would be 5 or higher. But there are 6 such digits there, and that cannot work without repeating a high digit. So there's no way that this is 5, that's got to be 3. Which is the second 3 that we found in the Fistemafel ring. Oh, does this have to be... Yeah, this has to be 1 now, doesn't it? Because we know that can't be 2. Otherwise we're going to have a problem with a 1-2 naughty domino. That's good. So we get a 1 here. We get a 1... Oh, that's not 1 anymore. We get a 1 in one of those squares. These squares are 5s, 6s and 7s. What does that mean? Not sure. Okay, we're going to have to think harder again, I suspect. What's the winning move here, Apiyo? What have you built into your puzzle I should be noticing? 3 is in one of those squares. Is that useful? I mean, that digit actually is interesting, perhaps, because it can't be 2 because of our naughty domino. It can't be 3, so it's at least 4 now. Let's actually have a look at that. That's at least 4, so that's at least 5, and that's at least 6. But this digit can't be higher than 7 because of the 8-9 pair here. So that is 6 or 7. So that's 4, 5, and that's 5 or 6. But there's no naughtiness going on there, is there? That's a 5 by Sudoku. Which... Oh no, it doesn't do anything. What a clever puzzle. It's intriguing, isn't it? It really is. It's interesting in a very unusual way. So I've got to think here about... It's going to be something like, where does 2 go in this box, isn't it? Because it can't go there. And one of these, whichever one of these 1 is going to rule it out of one of these squares. But I don't think I know. Oh, I do know. I do know. Look, I've got a 1 here. Oh. Now that look, I've got a chain here. Well, I think, yes, okay. So I am going to think about where 2 goes in this box, because it can't go next to a 1, and it can't go in its own column. And if it was here, it can't go there, because if it's in the middle of a run of 3 digits, one of these digits will be a 1, and that's not going to work. It's going to create a naughty domino edge. So 2 in this box goes there. I can see that's going to do things. That's got to be a 4. That's got to, whoa, that's a 2. That's a 4. Let's do it the right way round. Okay. Well, I thought that was going to do something. Oh, nearly. Where does 2 go in the middle box? It has to be in one of those 2 squares. It can't be here or it would create naughtiness. 1 has to be in one of those squares. 1 has to be in one of these squares. Now, I'm wondering if we're going to have to keep careful track of what's on the ring. It's very difficult for me to believe that that can be an 8 on that basis, actually. I don't know where we'd put. If that's an 8, the Fistemafell ring ought to contain 3 8s, and I don't see where I can put 3 8s along this ring. That can't, none of these can be an 8, and that can't be an 8 without making this a 10. So actually we could, by Fistemafell, we can rule 8 out of this square. That's got to be a 6 or a 7. If that was a no, that can't be a 3. If that was a 3, this combination here, which would be sequential, would be a 3, 4, 5 triple and break this square. So that's not 3, which means this is 3, which means this is not 3. Didn't get any fog reveal there. Hopefully that's, oh look, the 2 here means, this is a 4. That's huge. Because 4 on a whisper is monogamous, so it can only go next to 9. This is going to clear some more fog. And fog over here, where we haven't got any fog clearance going on. Aha! Aha! What's that done? It's plonked an 8 into one of those squares. It's given us... Oh, look, look. There's a tiny little German whisper line here, but that square can't be low. It sees all the low numbers, so that's a high number, and it's not 9 or 8, so that's 6 or 7, which must go next to 1 or 2, because it needs to be a number 5 away, and a 2 is not available for that cell. So this is a 1 right in the middle of the box, and that stops this being a 2, so the 2's got to be here. I'm not getting any fog from this, but I think the logic feels right. You can't put 1 on a white dot for many reasons. Sorry, a black dot. I mean, there's so much wrong with what I just said there. You can't put 1 here, it's true, on a black dot because it would create a 1-2 pair. But you also can't put 1 there because of this. So that would have been the simple way to deduce this. Now, so what have we got going on this black dot? It's not 1, 2. It's not 2, 4 for an interesting reason. If it was 2, 4, the 4 would go here and the 2 would go there, and it would be next to a 1 in one of those positions and create a naughty domino. So it's not 2, 4, it's not 4, 8, so it is 3, 6, and we know the order. So that's 3, that's 6, that's 6, that's 7. Aha. Good, good, good. This is now a 7 by the power of our old friend Sudoku, that fair weather friend. 2, oh, is that right? Yes, look. Okay, so now 2 is in one of these 2 cells. And that means 2 is on this thermometer. Well, we can't put it in the tip because it would be next to a 1 again. So the 2 goes in the well, what turns out to be the bulb of the thermo. I think I could have deduced it had to be the bulb. We've almost cleared all the fog. Maybe it's just this cell left. Have we done all the 2s? No, nearly. We've got this X-wing of 2s left. We haven't done all the 1s. Again, we've got X-wings of 1s left. 4 in this box is placed. It's got to go in the corner. 4 here is placed. And that could be a 4, couldn't it? That would, no, okay, that's not, we're not quite done yet. Although I think we're in a reasonable shape. Right, what's this digit then? That digit's at least a 5, but can't be higher than 6 because this can't be higher than 7. So that's 5 or 6. So where does 8 go in this column? It's not here because of this pencil mark, and it's not there because of this. So it goes exactly there. That would have got rid of the 8 from here. That's another way we could have done that. Look. So these squares are 5s, 6s and 9s. I can't see any way of getting any eliminations done there. Oh, look, 9 is in this domino, in the middle box. What about 3. Yeah, no, nearly. That's a 1-3 pair I've just seen by Sudoku. So in this box we haven't placed 5, 6 and 7 either. Is this the big challenge in town then? We've got to place loads of 5, 6s and 7s and we don't really know anything. I have got a 5, 6, 7 triple there. So 4, 8 and 9. Well, that's got to be a 4. It's a naked single. Might have been another way of getting that, but I'm looking at this column. I think we've only got 4, 8 and 9 left to place, and that clearly can't be an 8 or a 9, so it has to be a 4, which means this is an 8 or a 9. But that 4 is fixing this as a 5, this is a 6, this is a 7. It's not clearing any fog, but never mind. Okay, this is a run of... Right, where does 4 go in this box? It can't go on this run here now because we can't put any digits that are consecutive with it. So that's got to be the 4. That's got to be a 4. So this run of digits is 7, 8, 9. And therefore the middle digit has to be 8. And therefore that's 8, that's 9, that's 9, that's 7. These two squares are a 5, 6 pair, which we can do. That fixes this digit. This has become a 5, 7 pair. That becomes a 9. Is that going to be correct? It is correct. That's a relief. We need 4, 5 and 8. So this is a 4 now by Sudoku. This is an 8. This is a 5. And I'm not sure, but it feels like we ought to be just in tidy up mode now, doesn't it? I think that we might have broken the back of this one. So we will start to appreciate it more fulsomely once I've done the Sudoku. That's 6. It looks good, doesn't it? So that's a 5 now. That's got to be a 6, which means that should be a 9. That should be a 7. That should be a 6. This needs a 2, 7 pair, which we can do. That fixes the 2 and the 1 and the something. 5, I think. That fixes the 5 and the 7, the 1 and the 3. That looks like it's got to be... Well, let's look at the middle box, actually. 3, 5, 8. So we can do the 8. Do the 3, do the 5, and finish off with a 7. What a brilliant puzzle that is. Let's see if it's right. Yes. 203 people? God, sounds like Steve McQueen. Well, I wish, in A Great Escape. 203 solvers in 3.4 days. That's, well, I think that's probably a testament to how much these Phog of War puzzles are loved, and apiyo's skill in setting this one. That was beautiful, wasn't it? Absolutely lovely. A very, very unusual sort of break-in involving the corners and transporting those into a restricted Fist-of-Mavel ring that couldn't contain naughty dominoes. Where these ideas come from, I know not, but I did enjoy that very much. I hope you did too. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.